Jesus was faithful unto death. He literally died being faithful. He died. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. In his last moments, he says to the thief on the cross, you're going to be with me in paradise. I mean, he was faithful to the very moment. And when he breathed that last expiring breath, and Satan, as the enemy, thought, I got him. But he hadn't gotten him. He'd missed the boat. He'd actually made a giant mistake. 3 days later, or on the Sunday morning, Jesus comes up out of the grave. Now, this is so cool, and I'm just going to say a brief word about this. In the Jewish mind, God's judgment against sin and resurrection were end-of-history events. Okay, this is like described in Daniel. You might know Daniel chapter 12, go thy way, you're going to sleep, and then at the end you'll rise up, and others will rise up, and you'll shine like the stars of heaven. Okay, great. So in the Jewish mind, if you were to say, for example, to Martha at the grave of Lazarus, your brother will rise again. What did she say? Oh, I know that. I know he will rise again in the resurrection. Does anybody know this? At the last day. Yeah. Every Jew knew that. Watch this. That God's judgment against sin and resurrection are end-of-history events. These are what theologians call eschatological events. Watch this. You know what God did with the cross? God took an end-of-history event, plucked it up, and dropped it right in the middle of human history. Because what do we see in the cross? We see God's judgment against sin, and we see the resurrection. Do you know how you and I can be absolutely sure, we can be totally confident that our salvation, our standing, our access to the table of God and the family of God is secure? You ready for this? We're going to go Michael J. Fox on you here. It's because in the cross, we are looking back on the future. God has judged sin. God has resurrected the dead, and a human being is seated at the right hand of God.